So, you came here looking for the 2025 Lamborghini Aventador, the next chapter for the king of the supercars. Well, I have to tell you, you're both right and wrong. This is not an Aventador. This is the Lamborghini Revuelto. And the reason you're seeing this car is because everything you were hoping for in a 2025 Aventador, the power, the drama, the naturally aspirated V12 heart, has been reborn, redefined, and turned up to 11 in this machine. The Aventador era, a decade of pure, unapologetic V12 fury, is over. But it has a successor, a true heir to the throne, and today, we have it. Forget what you thought was next. This is your ultimate guide to the real 2025 Lamborghini V12 flagship. We're going to cover its stunning design, its absolutely revolutionary powertrain, and most importantly, what it feels like to unleash all 1,001 horsepower. This is everything you really need to know. The end of an era. A tribute to the Aventador now. Before we look forward, we have to look back. You just can't understand where Lamborghini is going without respecting the absolute legend it's leaving behind. For over a decade, from 2011 to 2022, the Lamborghini Aventador wasn't just a car. It was a cultural icon. It was the poster on the wall, the definitive capital S supercar. It was the last of a dynasty of naturally aspirated V12 titans that defined the brand for half a century. The Aventador was never just about speed, it was about the spectacle. Its design, inspired by fighter jets, was a symphony of brutal angles, gaping intakes, and of course those scissor doors. It looked like it was breaking the sound barrier standing still. And at its heart, the centerpiece of it all, was that engine, a magnificent, hand-built 6.5-liter V12. In a world going quiet and turbocharged, that engine was a glorious, defiant scream for raw, atmospheric power. Lamborghini sent the Aventador off with one last masterpiece, the LP 784 Ultimae. The name literally means final, and it was the ultimate expression of the Aventador's DNA. Lamborghini mixed the raw performance of the track monster SVJ with the slightly more civilized road manners of the Aventador S. The result was perfection. That legendary V12 was pushed to its absolute limit, producing 769 horsepower, 780 CV, and 720 Newton-meters of torque. At the time, it was the most powerful standard production naturally aspirated V12 in Lamborghini's history. All that power, sent through a permanent four-wheel drive system, launched the Ultimae from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 2.8 seconds. It would hit 124 mph in a staggering 8.7 seconds and wouldn't stop pulling until it hit a top speed of over 220 miles per hour. The Ultimae wasn't just a straight-line brute. It had the advanced four-wheel steering from the Aventador S, making it surprisingly nimble in tight spaces while being rock-solid stable at insane speeds. The most extreme versions, like the SVJ, even featured Lamborghini's patented active aerodynamic system, ALA 2.0, which could adjust flaps in milliseconds to either pin the car to the road for cornering or slice through the air for top speed. It was an engineering masterpiece built around a lightweight carbon fiber monocoque that was both incredibly rigid and light for a car of its size. But all eras must end. With emissions regulations tightening, the time of the purely internal combustion V12 flagship was over. Production of the Aventador officially stopped in 2022 with a limited run of 350 Ultimae coupes and 250 roadsters marking the grand finale. So when people search for a 2025 Aventador, what they're really asking is, what could possibly follow that? And the answer brings us back to this. It's not just a new car, it's a whole new philosophy. The new king, introducing the Lamborghini Revuelto. Let's talk about what powers this new beast, because this is where Lamborghini rewrote the rulebook. Meet the Lamborghini Revuelto, the brand's first ever HPEV, or high-performance electrified vehicle. And if the word hybrid makes you think of something quiet and boring, you are in for a serious shock. Lamborghini uses hybrid tech not to save the planet, but to conquer it. Let's start with the heart and soul, the V12. This is not some leftover engine. It's an all-new 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12, codenamed L545. It's lighter and, on its own, more powerful than the V12 in the final Aventador, producing a staggering 814 horsepower and 725 newton-meters of torque. And it revs to an ear-splitting 9,500 RPM, delivering that soul-stirring shriek that is pure Lamborghini. But that's just the start. Lamborghini paired this V12 with not one, not two, but three electric motors. Two motors are on the front axle, one for each wheel, creating an electric all-wheel drive system with no physical drive shaft connecting the engine to the front. The third motor is built into the all-new 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, which is now mounted sideways behind the V12. Combine the V12 with the instant neck-snapping torque of those three electric motors, and the total system output is a mind-bending 1,001 horsepower. Let that sink in. 1,001 horsepower in a production Lamborghini, making it the most powerful one ever built. This setup has some incredible tricks up its sleeve. First, the performance is just ridiculous. 0 to 62 miles per hour happens in a breathtaking 2.5 seconds, and the top speed is said to be over 217 mph, 350 km/h. The electric motors provide what's called torque fill. In a normal car, you feel a tiny pause during gear shifts. Here, the electric motors kick in during that split second, giving you one continuous, uninterrupted wave of acceleration that feels like being fired out of a cannon. Second, agility. With two independent motors up front, the Revuelto has true electric torque vectoring. In a corner, the car can send more power to the outside front wheel and even apply negative torque, or regenerative braking, to the inside wheel. This literally pulls the car's nose into the corner, making it feel sharper and more agile than any car this size has a right to. Finally, there's versatility. Tucked into the central tunnel where the old transmission used to be is a 3.4 kilowatt lithium-ion battery. Now, this isn't for long-range electric driving. The EV-only range is only about 5 miles or 8 kilometers. But it allows for some incredible party tricks. You can put the car in città, or city mode, and glide away from your house in complete silence. No waking the neighbors. Then, when you're clear, you can fire up the V12, which can even act as a generator and recharge the battery in just 6 minutes. This powertrain is a statement. While rivals downsize or go all electric, Lamborghini found a way to not only save its iconic V12, but to make it more powerful, more responsive, and more dramatic than ever. This isn't the death of the V12, it's a glorious, high-voltage rebirth. Exterior design. Aerospace meets nature. All right, let's walk around this thing, because the Revuelto's design is a masterclass in functional aggression. Lamborghini has always been inspired by aerospace, but here they've created a car that looks like it was carved from a single block, yet it's incredibly complex. Up front, you're hit with that shark nose profile. The whole nose is incredibly sharp and low, designed to slice through the air. The most obvious feature is the new light signature. The Y shape is a Lamborghini classic, but here it's been weaponized. These Y-shaped running lights frame the main headlights, which are almost hidden inside massive air intakes. Every single line and vent here is functional, channeling air to increase downforce and cool the huge carbon ceramic brakes. Moving along the side, the silhouette is pure Lamborghini. It's that iconic single line stretching from front to back, creating that unmistakable wedge shape. And of course, the scissor doors, it wouldn't be a flagship Lamborghini without them. But look at the details. That huge, deeply sculpted air intake behind the door isn't just for show. It's a crucial part of the car's lungs, feeding cold air right into the V12. But the real party is at the back. This is where you see the Revuelto's new philosophy on full display. The first thing you notice isn't the taillights, it's the engine. The V12 is completely exposed, showcased like a crown jewel under glass. It's a loud and clear declaration that even in this hybrid era, the V12 is still the star. Then you have these massive, high-mounted hexagonal exhausts wedged right between the Y-shaped taillights. This is a direct nod to motorsport, and it allows for a much larger, more aggressive rear diffuser down below. That diffuser works with an active rear wing that can lie flat for low drag or tilt up for massive downforce, keeping the car glued to the asphalt. According to Lamborghini, the entire chassis, which they call a monofuselage, is a new concept made entirely of carbon fiber. They claim this makes the car 10% lighter and 25% stiffer than the Aventador, which is a huge factor in its incredible handling. The Revuelto's design is a perfect blend of form and function. It honors its ancestors with the wedge shape and scissor doors, but it speaks an entirely new, electrifying design language. We're about to climb inside and explore the spaceship-like cockpit. The tech in here is just as revolutionary as the powertrain. So if you're enjoying this deep dive into the Lamborghini Revuelto, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what it's like to actually drive this thing. Inside the cockpit. Pilot-focused technology. Climbing into the Revuelto feels like getting into the cockpit of a fighter jet. Lamborghini's design motto was "Feel like a pilot," and they weren't kidding. It's a dramatic, driver-focused space, but it's also a huge leap forward in tech, and, believe it or not, user-friendliness compared to the Aventador. The first thing you notice is the space. Lamborghini says there's more headroom and legroom, and it definitely feels less claustrophobic. The seats are still aggressive and sporty, but they're more comfortable and better shaped for longer drives. Now, let's talk screens. There are 3 of them. In front of the driver is a 12.3-inch digital cluster that's crisp, clear, and changes with each drive mode. In the center, there's an 8.4-inch vertical touchscreen for infotainment and climate, which supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But the coolest screen is the slim 9.1-inch display just for the passenger. It lets your co-pilot see performance data like speed, gear, and G-forces. And in a really neat trick, you can swipe apps like navigation from the center screen over to the passenger's screen. The steering wheel is the command center. It's got a lot going on, but it's logical. You have 4 main rotary dials. The top left one cycles through the main drive modes: Città, Strada, Sport, and Corsa. The top right one controls the hybrid system's modes: Recharge, Hybrid, and Performance. This lets you mix and match, giving you a total of 13 different driving combinations. And yes, that iconic red flip-up cover for the start button is still right there in the center. It's a piece of theater that never gets old. The materials feel like a big step up, with a mix of carbon fiber, Alcantara, and beautiful leather. You can even see the visible carbon of the chassis integrated into the cabin, reminding you of the car's lightweight core. And practicality? Let's be real, it's a Lamborghini. But it is better. There's a tray for your phone and a small spot for storage. The front trunk, or frunk, is surprisingly decent. Lamborghini says it can hold 2 carry-on bags, making the car genuinely usable for a weekend trip. The overall feeling is one of high-tech luxury and intense focus. The Aventador's cabin felt a bit dated by the end. This feels entirely new, a cockpit that perfectly matches the car's revolutionary powertrain. The driving experience. What it's really like to drive. This is the moment. Firing up the Revuelto. You flip the red cover, press start, and it depends. In Cité mode, you get a gentle whir as the car comes online. It pulls away in eerie silence, driven by the front electric motors. It's a surreal experience in a Lamborghini, and the ride is remarkably civil. You can cruise silently for a few miles, which feels both futuristic and just a little bit wrong. But we're not here to be quiet. Switch to Strada or Sport, and the V12 barks to life before settling into a menacing idle. Now the car feels alive. You touch the throttle and the response is instant. There is zero lag. The electric motors give you that immediate shove, and then the V12 takes over, and you're just gone, riding a wave of relentless power. The new 8-speed dual-clutch transmission is a game-changer. The Aventador's single-clutch gearbox was famous for its brutal, neck-snapping shifts, exciting but jarring. This new DCT is lightning fast, but also incredibly smooth, thanks to the electric motors filling in the torque gaps for that seamless, uninterrupted thrust. But everything changes when you select Corsa mode and engage the performance hybrid setting. This is the Revuelto completely unleashed. All 1,001 horsepower are at your command. Pin the throttle and the experience is utterly violent. The sound is an all-out assault, a symphony of the V12 scream, induction roar, and the subtle whine of electric motors working in perfect, brutal harmony. As you rocket towards that 9,500 RPM redline, the engine note becomes a piercing, motorsport-grade shriek that you feel in your bones. It's an emotional, primal sound that no turbo or EV can ever replicate. Then you get to a corner. The Aventador was fast, but it could feel like a blunt instrument. The Revuelto is a precision weapon. You turn the wheel, and the front end darts to the apex with an immediacy that defies its size. That's the electric torque vectoring at work. You can feel the car actively pulling itself through the turn. The grip is immense, and the feedback through the wheel gives you incredible confidence. The carbon ceramic brakes are monumental, hauling the car down from insane speeds with total stability. And because of the regenerative system, the car is constantly recouping energy, ensuring the electric motors are always ready to help. What's amazing is how manageable all this performance feels. The old V12 Lambos could be intimidating. The Revuelto, thanks to all its advanced tech, feels incredibly intuitive. It works with you, letting you explore its monumental power with a level of confidence that is simply astonishing. A worthy successor? So, after all of that, the design, the revolutionary tech, the mind-altering performance, is the Revuelto a worthy successor to the Aventador? The answer is an absolute, resounding yes, and then some. The Aventador was the peak of an era, the ultimate expression of the purely internal combustion V12. It was a legend. But the world changed, and Lamborghini had to evolve. With the Revuelto, they haven't just adapted, they've attacked the future head-on. They saw hybridization not as a compromise, but as an opportunity. They kept the most sacred part of the experience, the soulful, naturally aspirated V12. But they surrounded it with technology that makes the car faster, sharper, and even more dramatic. The 1,001 horsepower is the headline, but the real magic is how it delivers that power. The seamless acceleration and impossibly sharp handling create an experience on a completely different level. The Revuelto proves the future of the supercar doesn't have to be silent or sterile. It can be a screaming 9,500 RPM V12 working in perfect harmony with electric power. It honors the legacy of the Aventador while making it feel like a relic from another time. With a price tag starting north of $600,000, it sits in the hypercar stratosphere. But for that, you get more than just a car. You get a statement. A piece of rolling art packed with technology and performance that can genuinely rearrange your perception of speed. So while there is no 2025 Lamborghini Aventador, its spirit is alive and well. It has evolved. It has been electrified. And it is called the Revuelto. This is the new king. So what do you all think? Is the Revuelto the ultimate hypercar? Is this hybrid V12 the future we were all hoping for? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you want to see more on the world's most incredible cars, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching.